Hi everybody, it's John Reynolds with Solomon Colors, and today I'm going to talk to you about refurbishing some stamped concrete that's been down for between 10 to 15 years. There's a lot of this concrete out in the world, and there's a lot of opportunities for fixing stuff like this and making it look brand new again. This slab was poured 14 years ago. It's integrally colored. It used a powdered release. It's showing normal signs of wear and tear, but we're going to come in today and make it look brand new again. The products that we're going to use today are the Brickform Antique It, and we've got the dark gray, which is going to yield a dark antiquing effect in the joints and also in some of the texture in the concrete. We're going to seal everything up with our PolySeal 400, and during the process, the first thing that we have to do is make sure that our surface is properly prepared. To do that, we're going to be using our E-etch, and we're going to follow that up with our NutriClean to make sure that we've got a clean and profiled surface. Now this is, again, 14-year-old concrete. If we look down at the surface, we can see that the fine sands have been exposed over the years. We do have some surface spalling here, and basically at this point what we're going to do is we're going to clean this surface, get rid of any impurities that are on the surface, on the slab, and then we're going to be able to clean the slab once it's been properly profiled. Now, because the sands have been exposed over the years, we don't need to do a dramatic etch on the surface simply because it's been etched over the years. Now, these surface falls and rock pops that have taken place, these would be very difficult to repair. So instead of trying to match and texture, we're going to actually take our antiquing material and help those surface imperfections become part of the antique process. One of the things that we want to do is verify in several different locations throughout this slab is whether the sealer is actually gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cap full of this E-etch, just a small amount, and we're going to put it in a little test area. And you can see the product reacting right away. Because it's reacting right away, that tells me that there's no sealer on the slab. If the material did not react and give this reaction and it just laid there on the surface, that would mean that we've got sealer on it, and then we would have to start talking about stripping the sealer, which is a whole nother process that we cover in another video called how to remove sealer from concrete. It's using our Strip It product. So we know on this part, and we'll go throughout the entire slab and make sure that there's no sealer anywhere on the slab. Okay, so we have a 30 by 19 slab here. Each gallon of our E-etch is going to give us about 150 square feet per gallon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wet this out, and then we're going to spread this E-etch around and let it do its magic. Basically, once this hits the surface, it's going to start a chemical reaction that's going to help loosen any impurities that are on the surface. It's a light degreaser, cleaner, and light etching compound that works really well on slabs like this one, 10 to 15-year-old slabs that have normal wear and tear on it. It's important to remember during this E-etch process not to let the E-etch dry on the slab. Okay, we want to make sure we keep it nice and moist. All I'm doing right now is mixing off the bulk of the sudsing action that took place, and then we're going to neutralize the surface with our NutriClean, and once we get that done, then we'll be ready for pressure washing. Okay, since I've got about 4.5 gallons of water in here, I'm going to use 4 cups of the NutriClean to make sure that I get a good effective neutralizing agent on here, plus get a little more soap on here to get rid of any dirt and debris that's collected over the years. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to spread it out over the slab. That'll neutralize the slab, and then we'll be ready for pressure washing. Okay, we're getting ready to pressure wash. I have a 40-degree angle tip on this. This is going to be best for this particular application because we're going to get a nice general purpose cleaning on this slab now. We are going to be right down on the slab, about 8 to 10 inches off of the slab the entire time to make sure that we get a good deep clean. Pressure washer needs to be a minimum of 3,000 psi at 4 gallons a minute right now. That's going to get the type of clean that we need to get a good bond for our sealer and to get all the impurities out of the pores of the concrete that have grown there, settled there over the years. These are some of the things that you want to look at when you're cleaning an old slab. In here we've got some algae growth that's formed. This is going to be stubborn. It'll come off with the e-etch and the pressure washing, but this is the type of thing that can cause your sealer to delaminate down the road. So it's really important that you take note of these, and that we make an extra effort to get this material off the slab during the cleaning process. With the Antiquate, we can apply that to a damp surface. We just don't want any ponding water. So as you look out over the slab, we've got some ponding water, some areas where it's soaking in. We're going to be just fine. We're going to let it soak in so that it, again, so we don't have any ponding water, but we will end up moistening the slab to facilitate the process with the Antiquate. The Antiquate comes in a little bucket like this. This is a medium gray, and inside of this bucket is a 3-pound bag of powder along with a measuring cup that will tell you exactly how much to put into a gallon of water. So I've got about 3 gallons of water here because we've got 600 square feet. So we're going to use 3 cups of the Antiquate powder material, and then we'll apply it. It's a very quick process. 1 6-ounce cup per gallon of water. You can add more or less to intensify or lessen the strength of the color. But we're going to use this full strength. Originally it was a charcoal gray color installed. So we'll keep that going. Now we're going to stir this up. Going to be using a soft bristled brush to apply this product, and basically all we're going to do is wash it onto the slab. I'm going to mist water down where we've got the water soaking into the surface. I've gotten rid of all the ponding water with the blower, and once I get just a hint of water on here, then we'll be ready to apply the product. So you can see we've got a damp surface, but it's no ponding water. This product is going to settle down quickly, so it's important to agitate in between every application. I always use the dip, agitate, and then apply method here. I want to apply enough material so that it settles down into the imprints of the concrete, but not too much to the point where you're getting more of a solid color. Okay, so now we've got our slab completely antiqued, and now we're just going to wait for it to dry, and then we'll get our poly seal on there. And because it's a stamped concrete slab, we want to get light coats of that material on later on today or tomorrow, depending on how the slab dries out. We'll come back and we'll spray on 2 to 3 light coats of the Poly Seal 400. Everything's pretty much dried out with our Antiquate project. So what we're going to start with now is applying the sealer. Today we're going to use our PolySeal 400. The techniques that I'm showing you today with spraying on sealer can be used with our PolySeal 400, PolySeal 100, Gem Seal 400, and Gem Seal 100. These sealers are faster drying sealers because of the VOC content in them. The 400 is referring to the VOC content, or volatile organic content. Some states require 400 VOC, some states require 100, and some are in the 650 to 700 range. So today we're going to use this. We're in Illinois. Illinois is a 400 gram state, so that means we've got to use the 400 gram sealer. It dries very quickly, so because it dries very quickly, it's difficult to roll. So that's why I've got this pump up sprayer, and we are going to spray several light coats on, because the way these acrylics work, they have to be applied in very thin lifts. If we apply them thick, they'll tend to bubble, and they can white out, and they can actually seal moisture into the concrete. So it's very important to make sure that you apply these acrylics in thin lifts. And at this point, what we're doing is just misting on the sealer. We want to be covering at a rate of about 300 to 350 square feet per gallon. Okay, so we've got our first coat of sealer on. It's very splotchy at this point, and that's normal because we've got a very small amount of sealer on here. And that's the way, again, these acrylics like to be built in very thin layers. So we're going to do that. We'll wait. We're going to wait probably about 20 minutes as this dries, and we'll come back. We'll hit it again. We'll go in a different direction so that we can cover in all the spots that we didn't fill in completely the first time. And then the third coat will just be to put a nice final layer on it and get a decent sheen out of the project. There's our slab. We came in, we did our E-etch, and loosened everything up from the years of wear and tear on the slab with the E-etch. We then neutralized it with our NutriClean, pressure washed it, used our antique to re-antique the slab, and then we just got done spraying 3 coats of our PolySeal 400 over the top. And this is the end result. We've got basically a brand new looking slab, some normal wear and tear, but looks 100% better than what it did this morning. Averaged about 350, 360 square feet per gallon per coat of sealer. This slab was especially porous because of the age, drank it up, so there's going to be a little extra sealer used on it because of that. But this is pretty typical for 14, 15-year-old concrete. A lot of applications out there for the use of the antique it, and hope you all learned something.